This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com. A Renegade Government, published in the Battle Axe, issue 118, June 1978. Over 100 years ago, the federal government broke free of all restraints placed upon it by the U.S. Constitution and has become a savage, kill-crazy renegade violating both states' and individuals' lawful sovereign rights. This gang of outlaws that now occupies its seat of authority has usurped such through illegal criminal acts of brute force. Before the Civil War, our nation was run according to laws by law-abiding men, and its progress and prosperity have never been equaled in history. This nation was led by men who placed a greater value upon performance of principle rather than upon personal popularity or profit. They were men that would die in obedience to the law before they would sanction the violation of one jot or one tittle. The Civil War was a bloody confrontation between law and inspired anarchy. The southern states had their rights guaranteed by the United States Constitution. It was to be abolished, then let it be done through legal process, was the demand of the South. This was the predominant sentiment of both North and South in the Senate and Congress until the pawn abolition movement with its firebrand John Brown began to launch an illegal, bloody terror campaign against the law-abiding citizenry of this nation. Since the money barons were not able to degrade the by giving equality through legal process, a blood feud was used to force the will of this moneyed minority upon all the nation. Even though John Brown was nothing but a mad dog butcherer of innocent men, women, and children, the lying press made him into the martyred hero. The North was so deluged and deluded with this vile propaganda that it marched upon the South singing the high praises of Brown. From this point on in America's history, the United States Constitution has been a powerless piece of paper trampled under the feet of traitors and tyrants whose guiding principle has been might makes right. The acts of the minority President Lincoln in calling up troops and declaring war upon the secessionist states was illegal, for only the U.S. Congress had such power. The list of illegal usurpations is a load too grievous to be borne, and it has continued to grow to this very day. In order to give their acts the semblance of legality, the power in the North took all voting rights away from the savage Southerner. Then various constitutional amendments and federal laws were enacted. This sinister force, which is now called the government, gained its death hold upon this nation through illegal acts which destroyed all opposition and then changed the laws of the nation, making its atrocities legal. You must realize that your nation's constitution is meaningless to such powers, and all who claim its protection are illegally attacked and silenced through imprisonment or death. These illegal attacks are the brutal force of the government, not the law, and no nation can long endure such criminal conditions. That man must now fight off such, or he will be destroyed by them. The only path before us, if we are to live, is to undo the illegal acts that have now become law. We must right the wrongs that have been sown for the last century, if this is not to be the last century. The pseudo-legal disguise must be stripped off of all edicts that are a deadly poison to culture. We must never rest until the rampaging gang of governmental renegades is dethroned and the divine law of Yahweh is enthroned. If you fail to act with us in this holy crusade, then you deserve the bloody hell that is closing in upon you. May God give you the courage to say, enough, and the heart to do as you say. Your future depends upon what you do. We offer you a movement with a party platform, the 10 Commandments, which will right the wrongs of the last century. We are a people with unreserved dedication to these high principles. We have proven this, even being imprisoned, and will continue to stand in His strength, spirit, and power. Now it is your turn to act. May God inspire you to join us in this holy crusade to free ourselves and our posterity from the most hellish criminals that seek the total enslavement of our nation and the destruction of our once God-fearing mighty. This message is produced by truthfromgod.com, which is one of hundreds of messages that can be read, heard, and watched at truthfromgod.com.